This switch is better. Okay. Can you hear me now? If you have any questions, just wait until I give you the microphone because we are live streaming and people are watching it live from all over Australia too. So they can't hear you unless you talk in the microphone. They will not hear your questions. So come in, Amos, and you can take over now. Thank you very much.
Well, it's great to see so many faces here tonight. Just make sure this is all working. It's working well. You can all hear me? That's good. It's really wonderful to see so many people. Obviously, a lot of people like food. I'm no exception to that. Now, this evening, I would like to talk to you a little bit about the fat family. When you walk down the supermarket aisle, you see a lot of foods that are labelled. Well, you can see low-fat milk and low-fat biscuits and low-fat this and no-fat that. And a lot of people think that this is wonderful. It's got no fat in it. Fat's bad. We don't want it. We want to get rid of it. And a little bit like maybe a woman who's dated 3 really nasty men in a row and decides that all men are animals and no good. Sometimes we're a little bit like that with fat. We think it's bad. But do you know that there's actually fats that if you don't eat them, you'll die? Are called essential fatty acids. And there's a lot of information out there about polyunsaturated and monounsaturated and short-chain fatty acids and long-chain and animal and non-animal and fish oil and vegetarian options. And there's lots and lots of information, and sometimes it's a little bit easy to get confused about what you should do. So what I'd like to do for you all this evening is to simplify everything a little bit and make it simple and practical. That's what I like to do. I don't like the complicated stuff and all the big names. Make it easy, make it something that we can do and stay healthy. So in the fat family, we have a few different types of fat. And if you walk down your supermarket aisle, you'll see a big oils section, right? And most of the oils you see there will be made from various seeds, whether it be corn or sunflower seed or canola or grapeseed, mixed vegetable oils, olive, all those sort of things. But olive's not a seed oil, but most of the others are. And all but very few, and for all intents and purposes, the common ones you find there are almost 100% omega-6. The omega-3 component of the oil, if it is there, often gets destroyed with the heating process anyway. Now, omega-6 fats are used for 2 things in the body. They're either processed into the building blocks which build your brain, or they're processed into building blocks which help your immune system to communicate. It's basically like the walkie-talkie or the communication system for the military. They make these products, they put them into the bloodstream, they have all sorts of different messages they can throw around, and omega-6 and omega-3 both make what's called anti-inflammatory prostaglandins, which is simply just messengers for the immune system. And if you don't have enough of them, your immune system can have all sorts of problems. You get all sorts of inflammation problems and the like. Now, when it comes to the balance between the two and how much, this is where a lot of the confusion starts to happen. Because we have so much omega-6 in the seed oils, all the vegetable oils we tend to use, therefore the balance goes way out of proportion. We're getting all this omega-6 and almost no omega-3. And as a result of that, a lot of the studies out there have shown profound benefits from upping the omega-3 and having a lot more of it. Things like fish oil and flaxseed and all those sort of things are out there in the health food stores. And you do need omega-3. But one of the reasons this study shows such a profound benefit to having omega-3 is because people are having too much omega-6, which is crowding out the omega-3 so that it can't get a look into these little factories that produce the building blocks which we were speaking about. Scientific studies are great, but nothing can ever beat nature. If you want to learn and understand anything, nature is the place to look. After all, that's what we're really designed to function with. But what we like to do is we like to take what nature provides, throw a whole lot of it out, and keep just one part of it. And so you imagine how many kilos of sunflower seeds or canola or whatever else you have it would take. You would have to eat a couple of kilos to get that few tablespoons you might be using in your cooking every day. Okay? And that creates a system. Our bodies weren't really designed to deal with that. So, what does this all mean in terms of what we should do about it? What I recommend is don't eat too much oil. Don't take too much oil into the diet. And particularly try and ease back on those seed oils and corn oil and all the vegetable oils that are very high in omega-6. Try and ease back on those ones. Now, to the other sorts of fats, but there are other fats that don't fit into these categories at all, and the body only uses them to burn for fuel. One of those types of fat is olive oil. Olive oil has virtually no omega-3 and no omega-6. It has just monounsaturated oil, which is only used in the body as a fuel. You don't have to have it. It's not an essential fat. It's just used to burn for energy. So if you're needing to have oil, the best two oils to use, particularly if you're going to use them in cooking, if you're going to heat them, are olive and coconut. For a long time, coconut got a bad rap because it's a harder, more solid fat. But today, people have realised that coconut oil, just because it's hard like animal fat, doesn't mean it's like animal fat. And they've realised it's actually very good for you. And probably gone all across overboard a little bit on saying, well, let's start drinking it, basically. Like anything, moderation. Now, if you are going to get hold of... we haven't talked much about omega-3, have we? Where it comes from, how to get it. I said that virtually all the commonly available oils on the supermarket shelf are omega-6 based. The things that are higher in omega-3, 3 in particular, pumpkin, walnut and linseed. Now, if you take linseed oil or walnut oil or pumpkin seed oil, if you can afford it, those oils are very expensive. But if you take them, you're getting some really good omega-3. But guess what? If you take the whole pumpkin seeds or the whole walnuts or the whole linseed, you're getting a whole lot much more. Because seeds and nuts in your diet are very, very good for you. They're high in zinc, they're high in vitamin E, they're high in all sorts of minerals and vitamins. They are a superfood, and if your average intake of foods and oils in particular has been, in the additives you get in food, in fried food, in those sort of things, you've probably been really deficient in these things. So, to make this really, really practical, like I said, I like to keep things really, really simple. Everyone wants to find the best nut, the best seed. You have to have this much of it every day. But really, the best thing you can do is have variety of raw nuts and seeds in your diet. Every one of them has something different to offer. They all have special qualities. Vary it, and you'll be best off. Now, if you weren't to take in all those omega-6 fats which people tend to have in their diet, you don't need so much omega-3. If you eat a simple, well-rounded variety in your diet and you include nuts and seeds, maybe, say, a couple of small closed handfuls or a few tablespoons per day, that's good. But if you're still, finding a hard time to ease off on those things because that's the way you've always done it, you do need more, because if you're taking in that much omega-6, you need to take in more omega-3. So a really good recipe, something simple for those of you who may be taking notes. Take 1 part of each of these. 1 part of sesame, 1 part of sunflower, 1 part of pumpkin seeds, and 3 parts of flax seeds. So that's maybe half a jar full of flaxseed, and the top half is a third of each of those other things. Put them in the fridge every day. Take 2 tablespoons or a heaping tablespoon, grind it up in your coffee grinder, and sprinkle that over your breakfast cereal or wherever else you find it pleasant to put it. And that will give you a good amount of omega-3. And remember to scale back on the seed oils. And if you're going to use oils for cooking, the best ones to use are coconut and olive oil. Now, just to touch briefly on fish and fish oil. Now, fish and fish oil can give you a lot of omega-3. And in many studies, they've been shown positive benefits in countries that consume more fish. The downside to that is the fish go in the ocean and they get their omega-3 from either eating plankton or eating other fish that ate plankton. And it originally actually came from plants. But fish tend to accumulate mercury and other toxins in their system. And many studies have shown that, particularly with the larger predatory fish, any more than a small steak, say, of tuna once or twice a week puts you already over the limit for mercury. Plus, many places in the world it's been shown that fish have more pesticide residue in them than fruit and veggies do. Somehow, they manage to accumulate this stuff in their system. And so, it's your choice. I mean, you can get it fresh from the plants and from the seeds, or you can get it second-hand from the fish. It's up to you. But there are serious downsides to getting it from fish and fish oil. I am biased, I'm a vegetarian, but you can get everything you need from plant sources, and not only do you get the omega-3, like I said before, you're also getting a whole host of other things, very high in zinc and trace minerals and all sorts of things in nuts and seeds. So, just one more brief thing. Trans fat. When you fry with or use a lot of heat or use products that are hydrogenated vegetable oils like margarine, and you see many times hydrogenated fat on the list of ingredients, they often contain trans fats and oxidized fats which are very damaging to your body. even if it says 0 trans fat on the margarine, that was at the time of manufacture. The process of hydrogenation keeps changing the oil after it sits, after manufacture. And what the trans fat is it's like you've got the wrong key and you stuck it in the lock and it got jammed in there and no one can open the door. It blocks the production factories, prevents the omega-6 and omega-3 from being used. So, that's our little nugget for the evening. I hope it's cleared some things up. I hope it's given you some answers. We could take maybe 1 or 2 minutes just for a couple of questions. We can't take long. I think I've already taken a little bit of time. So, anyone with questions? Flax, walnut and pumpkin are the 3 best. Flax is the highest of all, out of those 3. But a lot of the seeds, I mean hemp seed is good too, but it tends to be expensive. A lot of the seeds have some omega-3 if they're cold pressed oils or raw seeds. Not if they're roasted, then the omega-3 gets damaged.
All right, thank you.
Sorry. Testing. Talking about omega-3, what do you think of the omega-3 capsules, the fish capsules?
The omega-3 fish oils? Well,
yeah, fish oil capsules.
Yep.
So they're okay?
They are okay. I mean, I personally recommend what I said before with linseed, and if you're allergic to nuts and seeds, you can always get linseed oil. I prefer to recommend that. I mean, fish oil can deliver the same benefits, but like I said, there are quite a lot of contamination issues with those things. And if you can see the process in many of those cases, particularly in the cheaper fish oils, it's not pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Anybody else?
I just wondered, when you said pumpkin seeds, do you mean pepitas?
Yes, I do. Okay. Well, we have another one.
This is about the grapeseed oil.
Grapeseed oil?
Yeah, and the rice bran.
The rice bran oil. I'm not really extremely familiar with rice bran oil. Apparently, it is one that doesn't tend to be damaged so much by heat, and that's why people recommend it for cooking. I would have to look into that one a little bit more, to be honest with you. Now, what was the other thing you asked? The grapeseed oil. I think it comes in a very similar categories to the rest of the seed oils in terms of omega-6s. And with those sort of oils, if you're going to use them, it's best to find cold pressed. Whatever sort of seed oil you're talking about, it's best to find cold pressed. But better still, go for olive oil. I know some people, they taste it the first time like, oh, it's strong, it's awful. But if you have it a few times, maybe it will grow on you. Okay. Oh.
I'm getting my exercise here.
Making you work for it.
What about chia seeds?
Chia seeds, yes. I didn't mention them. They are very good when it comes to omega-3s. If you compare, say, chia seed and linseed, I mean, chia seed is more of a superfood than linseed is, right? But generally, people tend to have less of it because it's more expensive. If you compare them side by side in equal quantities, chia seed, I think, would win. But if you're having 1 teaspoon of chia seed versus 1 tablespoon of linseed, linseed's got to win. Okay, last chance.
Okay. Thank you, Amos. I'll get you to go and get the girls so I can introduce them and give them the mics. If you don't mind, I can wire up. Well, did you enjoy that? Very good. Well, now we're going to get into the real stuff, demonstrations. So I want to introduce the team to you. You have to go around, Amos. That door. Now, today it's Lydia, Rosetta, they will demonstrate, and I think Amy and Vivian will go around with the samples and a few others. Now, if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate. You can talk later even to Amos once we finish, and ask any questions from the girls also. And if you don't understand something, just interrupt and ask them, well, why are you doing this? Or what are you using? Why are you using it? Test them out a little bit. We'll call them in. How are you doing, girls? Okay, you're getting wired up. Don't electrocute them, whatever you do. Good. Well, we'll see if we can finish reasonable time, but normally we always file. So we are hoping to finish just after 9 sometimes. I think that's okay, isn't it? You'll forgive us if you go a little bit late. Now, do you have any questions about anything that's so far? Now, our last session, the other natural part that you already all know, those that were present here, Alistair, he will be here for the last presentation. And I know that you all enjoy his accent. Oh, hello. Okay, we have Lydia, Rosetta, Amy, Vivian, and a new member, Alicia. So welcome. And who's going to start us off? Lydia. Okay, Lydia will start us off. Are you all wired up? Are you switched on?
I'm switched on, man.
Can you hear her? It's all in your hands.
Very switched
Thank you.
on. Good evening, everybody. How are you? That's good. I see a lot of familiar faces. It's good to see you coming back. Welcome back, and welcome also to the new faces. I hope you enjoy our presentation this evening. We're going to really feature something special tonight. Who's ever heard of millet? Very good. I'm so happy. Who uses millet? Yeah, give it to. It is well known. Bird food contains mostly millet. That's true, and it's also amazing for us to eat. So we're going to feature millet tonight in our presentations. Millet can be used in many different ways. You can start off the day with millet by having it as a porridge. If you have it as a porridge, you can put in a cup of millet to 3 cups of water and then just simmer it slowly for about 20 or 30 minutes. And then into that you can stir in some nice dried fruits, or you can put in some coconut and some honey or whatever sweetener you like, dates, and have that with milk. That's enough. That's a real good way to start the morning. So you can have it for breakfast. You can also have it for lunch. And we're going to show you today one of the things that you can have it for lunch, and we're going to do a rissole. Today, as you can see on your sheets, we're going to be doing a croquette, which has got millet and vegetables. So it'll just introduce you to a different flavour that you can have with millet. And we're also going to do a pie, a millet and pineapple pie. And, well, after you see how it's done and you try it, then you can make your mind up to see whether you like it or not. But I'm sure you'll be delighted to know how it's going to be. Millet is very, very good for you. It's a grain, and it can be used instead of rice. It's also no gluten in millet. It's gluten-free. So for those that have gluten allergies, get onto millet, and you can use it in many different ways. You can put it into bread. You can put, like I said, make it into a cereal, or you can make it into a savoury. You can put it into soups and stews. So there's lots of things you can do with millet. It's got copper, manganese, phosphorus and magnesium. So there's a lot of, and plus other things too. So there's a lot of benefit from millet. They also say that the whole grain, millet is a whole grain, and that as well as other whole grains, are very good to help lower the type 2 diabetes. So those things help you with, against getting type 2 diabetes. It's also, they say that it's good to avoid gallstones, especially women. It's really, I was quite surprised to hear that millet will help aid against getting gallstones. So it's really very versatile grain. And so let's get started and stop mumbling on. And we're going to do, first things first, what I'm going to do with the millet tonight, I'm going to roast it a little bit before I cook it. And that way it just helps the grain to stay loose when you cook it. It doesn't go so gluggy. So I'll just put my saucepan on the stove. It's an empty saucepan, no oil, no nothing. And I will just tip the millet into it, and just for about 4 or 5 minutes, it'll just give it a nice, I will show you what millet looks like in case you don't know. It does look like bird seed, but I'll pass this around. I'll start over here. If you can pass it around, then you can have a good look.
Is it available at the supermarket?
Good question. I think in the health food section it would be. Yes. Yes. You haven't seen it? The health food stores, they do have it. Yes, they do have it in health food stores, definitely. I'm not too sure in supermarkets. It would be in the health food section if there was some. But we've got them downstairs in our little shop at the Elam store if you're interested. But yes, you can get them in any of the health food stores. So I'm just going to... Oh, I forgot to wash it actually. Sorry. They say that you don't need to wash it, but except for now, we normally do wash our grains, and it's good to wash it in case there is some residue there that shouldn't be there. So it's good to get a really nice fine sieve, and then I run this under the tap usually, and that way it's really really easy to wash. So get yourself a nice big sieve. I better get a bigger saucepan and tip it in here so that I don't spill it everywhere. Get a nice big sieve, and then you just run it under the tap and give it a shake, and that will just get rid of any unwanted things that will crawl. And sometimes I like to think that, if there was some creepy crawlies around, that it's been washed and rinsed and cleaned. So, yeah. Sorry? Yes, that's right. Yes. So we'll just give it a nice wash and a shake, and then we'll dry it out and just brown it a little bit on the stove. I like to do that with all my grains. I wash my rice, I wash everything. Thank you, Rosetta. So we'll just brown that up. Has anyone... does anyone have a favourite recipe that they've done with millet they want to share? No, everyone's a bit quiet. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put, once I brown this a little bit, you'll smell it. When you know it's being done enough, you'll smell that lovely nutty aroma coming through. As it dries up, you will smell it cooking. And what I will do, I have 1 cup of millet to 2 cups of water. Okay? So when you're doing it for a savoury or something like that, just do 1 to 2. Okay? Now if you are doing it for porridge or something else that you want a sloppy mix, then you put 3.5 cups. Okay? So what we'll do, why I started with this is because I'm going to be using this millet when I make my pie. So I need it nice and hot for the pie. So I'm going to start it cooking, and I'll leave it there, and then we'll get on with our soup. Tonight we're going to do a potato and vegetable soup. And I will just, it's getting nice and dry now, and it's starting to smell. You probably can't smell it from down there, but it's just starting to, can you smell it? Really? Awesome. That's cool. And I'm just stirring. It's really handy to have a saucepan that's got a nice big area. So the wider the saucepan, the better it is, because then your grains can spread out and it'll get roasted quicker. And okay, these are almost done. And when you're doing millet, if you want to do a couple of things, because the croquettes that we're going to prepare today, they don't have to be eaten on the day that you prepare. You can put it in the refrigerator. You can do it the day before. And so when you're cooking millet, you can cook extra because you can use it for all sorts of different things. So if you want to make an extra amount, you don't have to measure exactly the amount. You can do extra and just keep it in the fridge if you like, and then use it for other things throughout the week. I haven't frozen because I usually use it up straight away, but I don't know if you can freeze it actually. Yes, I'm sorry. Okay, it's starting to get a little bit, it's getting nice and loose. See, it's lovely and loose. I don't know if you can see that. But so we're going to put our water in here. Do you think you could get the hot water, please? I'm going to put boiling water because that will make it quicker for it to boil. Once it starts cooking, you turn your heat to very low. Okay, once you get that boiling, you just turn it on to a very low heat. And just let it simmer there for about 20 minutes and it should be right. So I'll just get the... Thank you. I'll just get a couple of... I've got 1 cup of millet and I'll just put 2 cups of water and we're going to let it simmer there for 20 minutes. Why should the birds have the best of things, huh? We might as well enjoy it too. So I'll just transfer that over there. And I'll put a lid on it and I'll just keep it simmering. Who's going to keep time? Can someone keep time? 20 minutes? Okay. All right. Yell out when it's 20 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes. So that makes it past, yeah? Lovely. Okay, for our potato soup, it's your first recipe on your sheet that you've got. We're just going to put everything in the pot. I love soups because they're full of nutrition and you can throw everything in a pot. I usually like to start, because there'll be no oil in this because I'm going to use some, this is chicken style stock cubes. It is not chicken, it's 100% vegetarian. So you can use the Marcel products because they are 100% vegetarian. Everything we're going to show you here tonight is vegetarian and it's also vegan. Okay, so that's what I'll be using today, and that has got a little bit of oils in there, so I'm not going to put any oil. I'm just going to put my potatoes straight in. I'm lucky I've had all this cubed up earlier, so I don't have to chop things up now. This is too hot. I've got that on low, but this stove might be a little bit hot. And then I'm going to put all my vegetables in. It doesn't matter which order you put in, everything that you want, my potatoes, my capsicum, my onion, my garlic, everything in there at once. And then I'm going to put in my stock powder, liquid stock, which is the same thing as this, except the liquid form. I'm just going to tip that in. And I'll show you in a minute because there's not much liquid in this pot. And you're going to say, how can that be your soup? See, it's very, very little liquid to the amount of vegetables you put in. So it just barely covers your potatoes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that simmer for a bit. I'll put my garlic in. I forgot my garlic. And I'm going to crumble my 4. I'm doing half a quantity here, okay? So you've got 4 stock cubes. So I'll just crumble that in. And then you forget about this until the potatoes and the vegetables are really lovely and cooked and soft. Now you can put salt, extra salt if you like it, and some people don't like too much salt, so they just are happy with just the amount of stock cubes that go in here. Now I didn't put the parsley and I didn't put the soy milk, okay? I will put that in once the potatoes are cooked and the vegetables are cooked, then I will add the milk. Now with the soy milk, I like to add it last because I don't boil the soy milk. If you boil the soy milk, sometimes it curdles when it's in a soup. That will give it a creamy feel about it. But if you want to have it the next day and you put it on the stove and you forget about it and it does boil and you go, oops, it looks a bit funny. Don't worry, it's not off. It hasn't gone bad. It's just that it'll give you a different texture, that's all. It will curdle if you leave it, if you let it boil. Okay?
Sorry, Lydia, can I just interrupt? Be careful of the soup. It's a little bit hot, okay? Don't burn yourselves. So be careful as you're trying it. Thank you.
Okay, we don't want you to have a bad time here. So we're going to leave the soup cooking away, and we've got our millet in this pot. It's starting to soak up the... Oops, I've just put some parsley in it. And that's cooking nicely. I'll show you. It's absorbing the water that I've put in. You probably can't see very well from where you are, but it won't be long and it'll absorb it all. Okay. So that's so easy. Our potato soup is so easy to make, and it's so yummy and nutritious, and it's something that the kids like it because it's creamy. It's just... Do you like it? Yeah. Oh, good. Thank you. If you like, you can put extra salt, or you can put extra, like if you like cayenne pepper. If you like something spicy, put a bit of cayenne in there. That will warm you up in winter. So I'm going to set this aside now, the milk and the parsley, and we'll add to it later when it's finished. But I will go on with the rest of the recipes, and we're going to do the millet and vegetable croquette. Now for this recipe, because I needed to have cold millet, I've already pre-cooked the millet for this recipe. Yep. Please. We'll just get sorted out here if you just bear with us for a moment. Any questions so far? No? Okay, good. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, because I've already done my millet, I've had it cooked, 2 cups of water to 1 cup of millet. It's already been cooked and it's cold. I'll be using that. And before I do anything else, I'm going to mix my millet and my flours together, which is your flour and almond meal. If you don't have almond meal, you can just grind up almonds in your coffee grinder and use that, okay? So I'm just mixing them together. Thank you. And that's my dry ingredients mixed together so that we'll have it ready for our rest of our vegetables. With the vegetables, I'm going to saute it on the stove for a little bit, and that will bring out the flavours, and also it'll make it quicker. We'll put the soup outside so that I can do this here for you so you can see it. I'm going to start off with a little bit of oil. I'm just using a little bit of olive oil in here, and I'm going to saute my onion and my garlic together. Use a spoon. How are we doing for time? I think we're doing all right. Now, with these, you can use the croquettes, you can actually use them as a sandwich filling. If you feel like putting it on your bread, squish it up on your bread and put some tomato sauce or some gravy or something, and you can have it as sandwich filling for the next day, or you can have it nice and hot with a meal. What I'm putting in here with these flours is 2 tablespoons of corn flour, arrowroot. Now, because we're not using eggs, arrowroot will act as a emulsifier. It binds everything together. So I'll mix that in with the flour. That's the arrowroot. So if you ever want to do anything and you don't want to use egg, you can use arrowroot, and it'll just help bind up your ingredients. How much arrowroot for 2 eggs? Possibly a tablespoon, a heap teaspoon for 1 egg. Yeah, a heap teaspoon, a really heap teaspoon, yes. And you also put 2 tablespoons of water with it, and you whisk it up together. I won't do it here because we don't need it for this particular one, but yes, if you use it in a cake or something like that, you need that moisture. You can just put in 2 tablespoons of water with it. But we do sell a product called No Egg, which is it does the same thing. You just whisk it up and it goes frothy like the egg whites. So you can use that in your cakes and anywhere where it says use eggs. We also do have a product called Veg, which is your egg yolk. We've got that downstairs as well. So if you need some just egg yolks, you can use that. Mix it with water. It's a powder, and you mix it with water. Some people are allergic to eggs, so they find that very handy to have. Yeah. Okay, that's starting to smell good. I'm going to pop in my vegetables, my carrot, my celery. You can put whatever vegetables you like, actually. If you don't like these particular vegetables that I'm using tonight, you can put something else that you do like. Capsicum. These give a beautiful colour. You'll see it when the croquettes come out. They've got lots of colours happening, and it just makes it look so appetising. So we're just sautéing our vegetables. And I've done zucchini, but you can put mushrooms, or you can, sorry.
One of the ingredients in this process says pork, massive chicken style cubes.
Yep. That's vegetarian, 100% vegetarian. I'll pass, I think I've got this one's empty. You can pass it around, have a read if you like.
What I was thinking is that chicken style stock.
It just tastes like the flavours that they put into chicken. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah, it's just the flavours that they do up when they do a chicken broth or something. They put these flavours in, so it tastes similar to what it would taste. But
it tastes very nice in that. And where can you buy that from?
From the Coles, Woolworths, any supermarket, anywhere where you can do your groceries, you'll find it. Yes. Yeah. They've got beef style, they've got chicken style, they've got vegetable style. They've got 3 different ones, yes. And you can get them in the powder form, or you can get them in the cubes. The cubes have got the oil, and then you can get the powder form, or you can get them in the liquid stock, which I've used for the soup. I've used the...
I can't say I've seen that in the shops and that, but I'm probably
It is. It's with the yes, the herbs, salts, and all that in that section, the condiment section in there. Yes, yes. Yes. I was just thinking maybe when we have got a question, if we can have a mic handed so we can all hear the question. The question was, where can we buy the chicken style Marcel cubes from? From any supermarket, any grocery store, they all stock them. So, yes. So, these smell quite... Yes, sorry. It could be, yes, you could. You can make it up yourself with the stock cubes. It would have a little bit more oil content in it than it would here. You can also make it up out of the powder. If you've got the stock powder, you can make it up. But you know what I do? And I say this every time. When I steam my veggies, I put the water in a container in the freezer. Okay? Always keep your water from your steamed veggies, just put it in the freezer, and that's fabulous. You want to make a stock, take it out, and you've got it. You don't have to buy this. You just add salt and make your own stock if you want to. This is easy and quick, but you can just make your own. So, okay, I'm going to crumble up the stock into here so that it'll give it some flavour and the saltiness. If you don't want to use it, you can use the salt, plain salt if you like. So it's quite... I'm also going to put a little bit of extra salt because I feel that it just needs that little bit extra salt. And I think the ones that you are eating at the moment, it's probably nice to put even a little bit more salt in it. I would have, but some people don't like too salty, so I just opted not to put so much salt. But while I'm doing this, Rosetta's going to demonstrate to you, on the side of your plate, you've got a raw salsa or a raw tomato paste or sauce. So Rosetta's going to demonstrate that while I do this, and then I'll come back to this, okay? I'll put that there. Do you want to demonstrate your thing now? Oh, Rosetta needs the mic. So we're going to do a swap here, if you just bear with us. I'm sorry. We need to get two mics, I think, so we could both be plugged in. Okay, can we handle this? Is it going to be loud? Come and give us a hand. Can you hear me through that? You can? Good. I'm not going to be quiet. I'm going to have a mic of my own. But, we're going to get in my way. The raw tomato sauce that you've got, I thought it was really refreshing, and you can use that with so many things. Instead of waiting for things to cook, just whiz it up and it's ready. You'll see how nice and easy and good and quick it is to make.
Hi everybody. I'm going to be making the tomato sauce, or it's like a raw salsa. So it goes really nice with your croquettes. Hopefully you've already tried that. And very, very quick and easy to make. What we're going to do, we're going to use all the ingredients bar the sun-dried tomato. So we put everything in the blender. So we've got our chopped tomatoes, three dates for sweetening, olive oil, We have a little bit of apple cider vinegar and a bit of salt. So that all goes in there. We just put it on the to blend it up. I'm going to make a bit of noise now. So when all that is blended up, then we add our sun-dried tomatoes. And then we blend it all again. Voila, that's it. Very quick and easy, and it tastes really good. Did you enjoy it? Yeah. That's it. Comes out quite thick. Can you see it on the camera there? Quite thick. Really good. Enjoy. Oh yeah, that might help. Dish it out. Just grab a spoon. Time to go. Time to go have a look. Voila. Look at this. Nicely done, nice and hot and ready for our pie. Yum. Can you see when I'm stirring it? It's nice and loose and fluffy. So it's almost like a couscous. Almost, yes. And it smells lovely. It smells really nice. Want the mic back?
I need the mic back now.
Okay, can you take that? It needs to be washed because she needs that.
So what did you think of the croquettes? Yeah? Is it good? Is it worth it? Oh, it's beautiful. When it comes out of the oven, when it's nice and hot, is just divine. There is dates? Yes. That's because instead of having sugar, we're trying to keep away from sugar. If you don't put the dates in, it's very, very acidic, like very sour. The tomatoes always, even in tomato soup, when you make fresh tomato soup, if you put some dates in it, it just breaks that real sour taste. Yeah.
It's all right, she's my wife, if you're wondering. It's okay.
Wiring me up. You wouldn't think a husband would wire his wife up, would you? You'd think he'd take all the plugs out and just keep him quiet. So there you go. Thanks, Joe. Okay, before I move on, I'm going to finish off what you're just eating, our croquettes. So I've done my veggies. They're ready to mix in with the flour. It's really delicious if you love mushrooms. If you put mushrooms and broccoli, it's really nice. So don't stick with those vegetables that I have given you. You can select and choose your own, whatever you feel like putting it together, and it's really yummy. And we just get it together like this, and then we make our little balls. I've used a 1/4 cup measure to make them up. And just lightly spray your tray with some sort of olive oil or whatever you have. I'm going to spray it with olive oil. There you go. There's your... And I've got to put the parsley. I forgot to put my parsley in. Thank you. Okay. Now that's ready to be done. I'm just going to light spray my tray. There you go. And you don't have to put too much on it. And now that's ready. And I'll just grab, this is my quarter cup measure. Just fill that up. Now, sometimes your hands could be sticky, so you just get a little bit of water and just start it off with a bit of water in your hands, and then just plonk it on your hand. Oh, you could have left it like that, but you can make a little ball. They don't always come out perfect, so if you make a little ball, it's probably better. And you just use that up, and it goes a long way. So, yeah. It's lovely when it comes straight out of the oven. So if you get it done, and when you think, about half an hour before you want to eat it, pop it in the oven, and it's just beautiful. Really nice when it's lovely and hot and crispy. And it's very delicious, and it's very healthy for you. And by baking it, you're avoiding frying, because some people, they would have, they'd fry it, but baking is a better option. You could, but it doesn't matter. Once you heat the olive oil, it's not as bad as other oils, but you might as well just use sunflower or something, yeah. Yeah. Yes. You can actually make these and freeze these once you've made it, yes. You can cook it for 15 minutes and then freeze it. Do this, cook it for 15 minutes and then freeze it. Bake it for 15 minutes and then freeze it, if you want the croquettes. And then just take them out when you're about to eat them and just heat them up for the next 15 minutes again, or whatever it takes to, yeah. Probably a little bit more if it's frozen. You probably need to heat it up a little bit longer because it's got to defrost. So, but when you're heating it up, don't put it on too high, because if it does have to defrost, you don't want the outside burnt and the middle still no good. So, yeah. I love the colours. The colours are just inviting, aren't they? Really inviting. Yeah. But that's it. They're very easy to make. It doesn't take a long time to do it. So we'll go and bake that inside. If you just excuse me, I'm going to have to run at the back to wash my hands, and then I'll be with you very soon.
Well, while she's doing that, just a reminder, you saw all these lovely books behind the corner? Yeah, there's quite a number of cookbooks and other health books and little tracks over there, so have a look after you finish there. And stock up. Stock up. Absolutely. Now, you can guess what I've been eating last few days.
Okay.
Millet. And more millet. I better go.
What's it dobbing me in? Okay. Now we're going to do... What I've done here, I've prepared, before we came, I just prepared a base. And this is a very simple and easy base. And it consists of 2 cups of wholemeal flour, 2 cups of plain flour. It's on your sheet on the bottom of the millet pineapple pie. It's got a simple pie crust. And just 1 cup of oil, 1 cup of water whizzed up in the blender, and then just gently with your fingers just swirl it through the flours and a little bit of salt, and just roll it out between 2 sheets of pastry. Now if we have time and you want me to do it, I can show you at the end, but I thought it saves us time. So I've just rolled it out and put it in my tray, and I'm going to use that for my pie tonight, okay? So I'm just going to warm up, because it has to be hot. I'm going to warm up my pineapple juice. And what I've done prior to warming up the pineapple juice, I've whizzed up my tin of pineapple. So I've already done that to save time. So I'll put that into the... Because it's to set the millet. It just helps when the millet cools down, then it sets. Otherwise it doesn't set properly. Yeah. So I'll just get a spoon. And I'll whiz up my pineapple just from Aldi. Just a tin of crushed pineapple, or pineapple pieces it was, and I just whiz that up in the blender. And I'm just going to warm this up. Now the millet is nice and hot still. And this will warm up, and I'm going to whiz up everything in the blender. So I'll start off with my coconut cream. You don't have to cook this, you just whiz it up and pour it into your crust. So make sure you have a crust ready. If you want to make a crust like a biscuit crumb crust, you can make that up if that's what you like. So just make sure that your crust is ready, because once this is blended, you've got to pour it into something. You don't have to put it in the crust. You can also do parfait glasses or little ramekins or something like that. You can put into there if you want it like a pudding. It doesn't have to be in a pie crust. So, but I'm putting in all my ingredients. I'm putting in my lemon rind, my vanilla. Now I'm not using vanilla essence, I'm using vanilla extract, and that's a lot nicer. And lemon juice. And with everything sweet, it's always nice to balance it out with a little bit of salt. Always put a pinch of salt in your sweet, whatever you make, because it just gives it that little bit of, I don't know, I think it's the chemical reaction of the salt and the sugar. It balances it out. Yes, that's right. Now this is, I should have put that on earlier on actually. I forgot about heating that up. But yeah, any other questions? But I think our soup is almost done in the kitchen. So if you wouldn't mind, Rosetta, have a look, and we'll finish off our soup while we're waiting for this to warm up. Hasn't it gone cold all of a sudden? Ah, Friday, I thought, what's this? It's not winter yet, but oh, it sure felt like it. On goes the heater. I could smell all the fires burning around our place. Yeah, that's it. With this pie, what's really nice, if you crush up some frozen raspberries, put it on top and a dollop of cream. I think some of you have got our recipe for the vegan soy cream. Just put a dollop of that on top. Okay, now our soup is done, and it's there's not much water in there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the milk in last, and just remember not to boil the milk. Okay. You can warm it up, but don't give it a boil. And this just makes it creamy. It's just nice and creamy. The parsley just offsets the colour and just gives it a bit of brightness in it. And I'll put it here so you can see it. Oops. Oh, this has got water in it. That's the one I washed the millet in, wasn't it? I think. Okay. Rosetta's just getting a dish so that we can put that in. Now, would you have guessed that was millet in that pie? The middle part of it. Thank you. Beg your pardon? Yes, it's in the recipe. It's called the millet pineapple pie. I'm doing the soup. This is for the soup, what I'm doing here now. I'm just finishing off the soup, I'm sorry. No, don't put the milk in the pie. Sorry, I'm just finishing up the soup that I started before. It's just cooked and I've finished it off. I'm just doing this while I'm waiting for my pineapple juice to warm up. Okay. This is almost done. Oh, put the... Yep. Okay.
I just received a question, sorry Lydia, from one of the ladies that's watching on live streaming, and she's asking, because they're not here and they have no recipes, can we organize to send them the recipes? So all those that are viewing us live, if you want the recipe, please ring us up or send us a message and your address or your email, and we will send you the recipes too, okay? Enjoy the watching.
Okay, my juice is boiling, it's nice and hot. It doesn't have to boil as long as it's very hot. I'm putting that in here, and I'm going to put my millet, my hot millet, into it. Am I doing half or a full mix? Okay, my fluffy millet. No, it's full. And I've got to put 3 cups of millet into it. So, 1, 2. Because I've put one cup of millet and 2 cups of water, I've got exactly the right amount for this. Because it's made 3 cups. So I'll just pour that in. Okay. And now I'll just whiz that up. Now if you have got a blender at home that is not a Vitamix, because the Vitamix has got holes on the side which allows the vapour or the steam to come out when it's something hot. If you've got an ordinary blender, make sure that your top is not fastened on. Make sure that there is a little vent. Don't leave it off because it'll splash you in the face, but leave a little vent. Leave it to the side so that the hot air can escape, okay? Otherwise it could, I don't know what it'll do, I don't think it'll be very good. So make sure that it's not completely on if you've got an ordinary blender. Sorry about the noise. See how it's steaming? You can see this steaming coming up. So this has got little holes, so it allows the steam to come out, but if not, it could explode. Okay, this is ready, and it's a little bit runny, so we just pour it into our case, or if you want to do individual ramekins, whatever you want to do, and let this set for a couple of hours. When it cools down, put it in the fridge, and done. That's it. It's all done. Now if you want me to repeat to you about the crust, if you want to write it down, it's 2 cups of wholemeal flour. I haven't got it on you. Have I got it on there? I have got it on there. Oh, good. Okay, very good. No problem then. Okay, any questions? No questions? That's awesome. Yes?
Coconut. Instead of coconut, can we use any other cream?
You could put soy milk. You could put soy milk. It won't be as creamy, but it would work. It would still work. So yeah, if you want to leave the coconut out and just, that'll be fine. Just use soy milk. Or you don't really even need to put anything if you don't want to. Just have it plain. The coconut gives it that creaminess about it. So you can have it without it. That'll be okay too. But if you want to make it a little bit lighter and creamy, then if you use the soy milk instead of the coconut cream. Yeah.
Yes, Lydia. I noticed did you put in lemon rind into that?
I did.
So that's not on the recipe there, but
Oh, it's not on the sheet?
not on the sheet.
Sorry, down the bottom. I'll admit to that. Okay. If you'd like to write into your sheet, is there?
Oh, I wrote it.
It is
Okay,
there?
it is,
Okay.
sorry.
Oh, very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you. You can make the croquettes into a loaf if you want a loaf. Yes, definitely.
Can you make the croquettes into a loaf instead of into
Definitely, yes, you can. Yeah. You can also, you could also use it as a pizza topping. If you've got your pizza base, you can put that on top and put it in the oven as a pizza topping. Yeah. So next week, if you're coming back, I want you to come up to me. I tried that and it worked really well. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay.
If you want to avoid the soy in your potato soup, can you use like rice milk thickened with a little bit of corn flour or something like that?
Almond milk. You can use almond milk would be really good. Rice milk is a little bit see-through, a bit diluted. Almond milk gives it more flavour. And if you want to make your own almond milk, you soak your almonds overnight, and in the morning you put 1 cup of almonds with 2 cups of water, and you whiz it up in your blender, and you put it through a cheesecloth. Just a cotton cheesecloth, and you can actually use that milk, and it's nice and rich. Put a pinch of salt and a little bit of vanilla if you like, a little bit of honey, and it's delicious. It really is nice. And the pulp that you take out of that milk, you can make that into a savoury. You can put it into a rissole, or you can just use it as a cheese. Just spread it on bread, make it spread or something. Yeah, you could. Yes. Yeah, you could. Yep. Amy, could I please have one of these, just a nice bowl to tip this into it? Yes, sweetie?
If you cook with coconut oil, does your dish taste like coconut?
Does it taste like coconut with coconut oil? Yes, it does. Yes. But it's not very strong. It depends how much you put in. Yes. Yes. Very good.
Can I use rice instead of the millet for those millet and vegetable croquettes?
You can. Yes, you can. Okay. Definitely.
Just
yes.
use rice. Is there an easier way to cook that millet?
You can cook it in the rice cooker. Do you have a rice cooker?
Yeah.
You can do it in the rice cooker. Beautiful.
Oh, okay.
You don't need to brown it either. You can just put it straight into the rice cooker and just cook it as rice. 1 cup to 2 cups of water. Yeah, you can do that. Yep. That's no problem. Actually, rice cookers are marvellous, aren't they? They don't burn. It's very, very easy. Yep. Sure. There's our pudding. We've got a group of students here from all over the world. They're going to enjoy these things tomorrow for dessert, I think. So it'll be good.
No more questions?
No more.
A question from behind me. They wanted to know if you could freeze the raw tomato sauce.
If you could freeze the
raw tomato sauce?
I'm not sure. I haven't tried, so try it. Yeah, just try it and make it. I'm thinking that if you freeze it, it will separate the liquids, because when you freeze something, it separates. In that case, when you thaw it out, just whiz it up again, and it could be okay. Yeah.
Trial and error.
That's right. But you will get the separation. When you take it out of the freezer, you will get the separation. You get the water and you get that solid consistency. So just whiz it up again. Yep. Sorry? Yes, definitely. Yep. For the first, no, it'll be something different. There'll be millets for today. Something else is going to shine next week. Yeah, no, for the next 2 weeks, today we have a series of 3 Monday nights, so they're all different recipes throughout that 3 Monday nights. That's okay.
Hi, Lydia, with the pineapple pie. Can you use fresh pineapples as well?
You can. Yes, definitely. Fresh pineapple's beautiful. Yeah. It won't be very fresh once you boil it up, but you can use it. You can still use it, yes.
Fresh is always best.
Always best, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're done.
Couple of announcements. If you are coming back next week and you have not registered, could you please see Amy and just let her know that you are coming? So we have to make sure that we have enough samples, that we have enough seats for the people to come. Now, don't forget the books. Don't forget the donation. Don't forget the little shop downstairs. Elaine will be going down, and you're welcome to come and have a look. Something else, you all realize that we are a church, and I don't want you to go away from here without asking the Lord to protect you on the way in His blessing. So I'll ask you to bow your heads. Loving Heavenly Father, we thank you for the time that we could spend here together in using the beautiful things that you have created for us. We want to be healthy. We want to learn how to use these things to the honor and glory of your holy name. Protect us on the way home and look after us wherever we are going, that we may be safe. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you all for coming. It was lovely to see you, and we hope to see you next week.
Thank you.